All right, we're in here. We're ready to go. This is I feel bad calling this an instant reaction, but the delay, the travel made it hard to do something last night. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I waited. We were gonna. So Richie's at a baby shower right now. So y'all boo him. Y'all boo him out of here. He should be focused on that baby. There's a reason we're not doing double fries, no slaw right now. It's because my man literally went to a baby shower. So but I'm glad that he's at least listening while we're doing this. So probably a little better that we do this now. A little time to collect thoughts. Richie and I were going to go live last night, but I'm glad that I've gotten a chance to rewatch the game. I was wrangling a kid, so I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk about some news. I want to talk about the game. I want to get your reactions. I want to tell you guys a funny story or a cool story from yesterday, and then I'm gonna get some people on here in chat. So I see a couple of you already requested. My guy Devin's gonna DJ for us out there in New Orleans. Dave, I see requested. Let's jump in. Let's talk. If you're here on YouTube, if you're watching, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on the replay, you guys can utilize the chat. You can utilize the super chat, and let's get after it. Good day yesterday. Overall, you get out of the game relatively healthy. I know that there's a Johnny Wilson question. I know that Darius Washington also seemed like he was a little banged up. Never went inside the tent. I'm not super concerned there. But let's talk about the day a little bit. Let's talk about your reaction, your thoughts on it. Overall, good day for FSU. I know that people are this fan base annoys me at times. I don't mean to just go on a rant as soon as we get on here and get started, but you're the same fan base, or we're the same fan base that said, I don't care as long as we find a way to win this game. We go show us what we can do against LSU. And I think Florida State ran a total of like 5 or 6 plays all night, different plays, and absolutely dominated from start to finish. The defense pitches a shutout, if not for your backup throwing an interception. Had some dumb penalties, right? Late hit early, recovered from that quickly. The offense scored literally every time they had the ball until you had your third string quarterback in and you didn't get a first down. You had 3 guys go for over 100 yards. I think the sour part of this fan base just would not have been happy with anything yesterday. Could have scored 60, and they'd say, well, why didn't they get to 80? Overall, I thought it was a good day. I thought it was a really good day for FSU. Jordan Travis, I understand the level of competition, but he delivered some balls that looked great. Your running backs are legitimately good running backs. I, again, understand the level of competition, but your running backs are very good. Bouncing off of guys, keeping their legs churning. How about Rodney Hill hurdling a guy to get in the end zone? That was fun to see. I think if you pick up that last first down, I was hoping they'd go for it on 4th and 1 because I think they'd have just kept feeding them the ball, and you might have had 4 guys go for 100 yards. So anyway, want to jump into it, want to talk. I don't want to just rant the whole time and hate on the fan base. To me, the biggest thing that I think I'll say is I don't think there was anything that you would necessarily take away from last night that would change your mind at all on this upcoming season. Really good or bad. Is that a hot take? Can I say that without people freaking out? Like, the spread at kickoff was 42 points. I mean, they won by 40, right? And they didn't, they missed a 2-point conversion. So, I mean, didn't miss a field goal, punted 1 time on a 4th and 1 that they could have gone for it. Mike probably made the right decision up 40 in the 4th quarter to punt it. Yeah, I'd like to have scored again. I'd like to have covered the spread. He probably made the right decision. Duquesne showed absolutely nothing. They threw the ball 7 times in the first half, 7 times in the first half. They got the ball out. I saw Seminoles tweet. They got the ball out half a second faster than the national average last year. People saying, oh, there wasn't any time for sacks. There was no time for sacks. They were literally throwing the ball at like 2.25 seconds of play. I'm sorry. I think it was 2. No, I think it was like 2 1/4. Let me find Seminoles tweet. Oh, they didn't get any sacks. Oh my goodness, shut up. Duquesne ran the ball every play. And when they were dropping back, they were getting the ball out in let me find the exact tweet. Shout out Seminoles. Oh man. I can't find it. Like 2.25 seconds. There was no time to get back there. Duquesne understood there was a paycheck game, and they got out. Team looked good at times. Vegas hasn't moved the line. I don't know if you guys are aware of that or not. I know that the Twitter experts are much smarter than Las Vegas is, but you understand the line going into this game was 3 points for LSU, and it's still 3 points. We're not all of a sudden 2 touchdown dogs. By the same token, we're also not a touchdown favorite. Anyone that's extrapolating talking points that are just season long, oh my God, sky is falling, BS talking points right now, what are you doing? You played like a terrible team yesterday and scored every single possession until you were up 40 points and Mike called off the dogs. But you know that they'd have gone for that 4th and 1. They'd have gone and scored again. Would you guys feel that much better about a 54-7 win? Would you? You feel that much better? Made the 2-point conversion be 56? Would that 9 points make everyone's day a little better? The ranting on the timeline after a 40-point win. You lost to Jacksonville State last year. You were down by 14 to Jacksonville State the year before. You needed an overtime to beat ULM. I'm sorry, a blocked extra point to beat ULM. You were losing to Samford in Willie's first year. This is not 2013 FSU. We have been terrible for years. And people complain about a 40-point win. Incredible to me. I get it. Florida State could have scored 100 yesterday and people would not have been happy. I understand. But you literally lost to Jacksonville State last year and were getting beaten down by them the year before. You won by 40. Nobody got seriously injured. You're still a 3-point dog to LSU in their backyard. I don't know. I had a great day yesterday. The timeline got me in a mood this morning. Maybe you guys feel like you have to front for the rivals. I don't know what the situation is on that. Maybe if you say the team is crap, then the rivals will pat you on the back and, you can get some ha-has off and make our team look stupid and our fan base look stupid. Because you do look stupid. You look stupid after a 40-point win. Nobody in here, I'm probably just talking to your friends. You guys are way too intelligent to, you guys know football, I think. Maybe we don't. We showed absolutely nothing last night. We ran no stunts on defense. We had nothing tricky happening on offense at all. It was line up and run the ball down the middle of the field. Norvell did do a good job of kind of moving the point of attack a little bit because their nose tackle was pretty good. He did a good job kind of running off that when I watched the replay this morning. Negative after this. Listen, we go out to New Orleans and we get our heads beat in and we lose by 21, we're firing some people. I get it. But if you're taking I don't know how people are upset right now. I don't get it. It's wild to me that anyone's upset right now. You play a vanilla game, you win by 40, you score every time you have the ball. Nobody gets hurt. Johnny Wilson, a little bit of worry there. But life is too short for this. We lost an FCS game last year, and we were being beaten by 14 points the year before until Jordan came in. Shout out Jordan Travis. Florida State has 9 wins over the last 3 years, and he's played in every one of them. Started 8 and then came back when we were down 14 to lead us back against Jacksonville State 2 years ago. All right, that's my rant. Rant's over. I'm going to go to positive, TJ. Hey, look, life is about moments. And I'm going to tell a personal story. You guys got to hear the rant first, and I'm going to bring it back, and then we'll get into whatever you guys want to talk about. But life is about moments. And Pops, I see you in here, my man. It was good to see you yesterday. Shout out Kalen's dad. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out Rob Deloach. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by the tailgate. Good times with Rising Spear yesterday at the tailgate. Man, that came together really well. All right, let's talk about that. yesterday was an awesome moment for me. I'll just say this: as annoyed as I am right now, I'll turn it off in like 20 minutes and be fine. But I got to take my daughter to the game. I know you guys know. I was kind of trying to document it and post it on social media as much as I could to try and share some of the good stuff, and had some family that was kind of following along with different things. But man, I have probably been to, I don't know, 30 or 40 FSU. I don't know, quite a few. I've gotten to do some neat stuff. I've gotten to be on the field before. I actually one time kind of like snuck in and not snuck in, but I kind of like snuck in to like stand right beside the I was right beside the last cheerleader when they were like kind of making the tunnel, and the team ran out. So I was right by the field goal posts on that side. And so I've gotten to do neat things, but let me tell you something. And if you guys have kids and you've taken your kids to games before and you've done some of this stuff, you already know, like you're way ahead of me, and you've already kind of gotten to experience this. But yesterday was my first time getting to take my little girl to the game. And it was truly one of the best days of my life. That's not hyperbole. That's not recency bias. Watching Florida State football has always been something that I've enjoyed, and I've always liked it. And I've always had a really good time with it. I've always had a really good time going to Disney. I've always had a good time drinking around the world or riding, roller coasters or whatever. When you get to experience those things with your kids and you get to see the joy that through their eyes, it is so much better. And you guys that have kids, I'm a newer dad, right? Just a couple of years, first time that my daughter's been to a game in Doak. So it was a new experience for me. But man, it was so neat for her to take it in. Because at every turn, she gets excited when she sees the Seminole logo, right? We make a big deal of that in our house, right? Oh, look, it's the Seminoles. She gets excited when she just sees that. Every turn that was made yesterday, of course, she saw the Seminole logo. She saw the guys in the helmets and the pads. She saw, every single person that we saw that was wearing an FSU shirt, she would say, look, Dad, the Seminole logo. And I kept saying, like, you're going to see that a lot today. You don't have to point it out. But she did every single time. We show up, we roll up. Of course, we go to Garnet and Gold. If you're listening right now, garnetandgold.com, spaces 15 will save you 15% on your order. Get your stuff before we get out to New Orleans. You need to put your orders in today so you make sure you have that in time. We get to Garnet and Gold, and of course, she's excited about every single thing in there. She wants to buy every single thing. We don't do that because I'm not loaded like Richie, but we do shop a little bit at Garnet and Gold. We have a good time there. She sees Renegade drive by, so that's super cool. Shout out Tara and the folks over at Garnet and Gold. They hooked her up. Had a good time there. We go to the tailgate. Rising Spear did a phenomenal job with the tailgate this weekend. More of that is on its way. More of that is coming. If you are not a member yet, we've got a lot of really, really cool stuff coming with Rising Spear. You need to go follow them, and you need to sign up right now. There's a lot of good stuff going to happen this fall, and more details on that to come. But we get to the tailgate yesterday. The softball girls are there. So Catherine Sandercock, Devin Flaherty, Kaylee Mudge, Michaela Edenfield, all there. This is not about me, but I've probably chatted with each of them a dozen times. Not a huge deal for me to see them and say hello, but I did share a picture of Elena getting to meet them and getting to see them, my daughter getting to see them in person, the girls that she watches on TV. And her smile is just an absolute ear-to-ear cheese ball smile that's fantastic. And so, again, not a big deal for me to see those girls. I see them all the time. But to watch it through her eyes, pretty incredible. We go inside the stadium. Like I said, I've been on the field before. It's neat every time. It's always kind of special. But to see her just running around and being a 4-year-old and being a kid and being down on the field, that was cool. I've raised my hands in Doak 500 times for touchdowns. To see her raise her arms because she looked around and saw everybody else doing it when we scored. Very, very cool. Again, 6 touchdowns. She got to do it 6 times, and we're upset about that. But really, really neat moments yesterday. And like I said, it's cool to do fun things. It's cool to go to Disney. It's cool to go to see a movie. It's cool to go out and go to games, go see Florida State, go do this, that, and the other. When you can do it with your kids, and again, you guys with kids, you're way ahead of me. You already know this. So many of you have already done this, but a neat life moment. Probably the coolest thing is we're walking up in the Champions Club, and I'll say this and I'll shut up and we'll get to kind of the show, some of your reactions. Tell me, you guys, what you think. But probably one of the neatest moments, we're walking in the Champions Club, and of course, I'm having her take pictures with like all these people. Like, she has no clue who it is. Pierre Ward, Kes McCorvey, Brooke Wyckoff, obviously the softball girls we mentioned. She's taking pictures with just anybody and everybody. We're walking in the Champions Club, and she turns around with me. My kid's 4 years old. She turned 4 on Thursday. She's 40 years and 3 days old. And she said, "Dad, is this just the best day?" She said, "We got to go to the game. We got to have popcorn. We stopped by Busy Bee. And we also went and met," and she mentioned Michaela. We also met Miss Michaela. And I said, "Yes, babe. It was the best day ever." So anyway, emotional, literally just a fun story I wanted to share with you guys. Has no impact on anything. Maybe that's also why I'm in a mood. Hard for me to be negative after a day like yesterday. Like I said, doing stuff is cool. Getting to do stuff with people you love, a little bit better. So, all right, that's all I got. I'm done with my rant. I'm done with the emotions. Hit you guys with the salty TJ and the sweet TJ all in the same space. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's get to some of your calls, let's get to some of your thoughts. Yesterday, Florida State dominated an opponent that was worse than them, and they've not done that often over the last 4 years. They did it with UMass last year. Outside of a muffed punt, I think Florida State would be 7-3 in their last 10 games. Just to throw that out there. I mean, they're 6-3 in their. Well, let me back that up. And we're 5-3 to end the year. I think they'd be 7-2 in their last 9 games. Is how that math works out. Outside of a muffed punt. I think if they don't muff the punt against Florida, they're 7-2 in their last 9 games. They're 6-3 right now, though. 6-3 in their last 9 after a pretty terrible start last year. You don't wipe that start away. Like, that start still happened. You still get blamed for Jacksonville State. That's not like off the record. Oh, a little news. All right. I was down on the field yesterday, and this is, I don't know if this is breaking news or not. I don't know how much you want to read into this or not. But I was down on the field, and it was pretty close to where the guys go down and pray right before the game, right before they line up for Renegade to come out and Osceola to plant the spear. And Winston Wright ran by, and a couple of people were asking when he'd be back, and I just said, "Hey, man, we need you back." And he looked us dead in the face and said, "I'll be back in 2 or 3 games." So, Winston Wright is not his own trainer. He's not the medical staff that'll have to clear him for play. He's not Mike Norvell, who ultimately has the final say. But Winston Wright looked me dead in the face yesterday and said, 2-3 games. It'd be about October 1st, right? Get us through September. And you have Winston Wright back for what I've dubbed Hell Month. Wake Forest. Hopefully Hartman's not there. Wake Forest with Hartman, maybe. NC State and then Clemson. You get Winston Wright back for that. I think that's helpful. I think we all know he's not going to be back this week, right? Hasn't practiced. Even if he was back, I don't know if he's, well enough to be back. Maybe the Louisville game, maybe the BC game. I don't know how much you need him against BC. You'd help against Louisville if he was 100% or close to it. But you get him back for that Hell Month. A little breaking news on the spaces. I tweeted this out yesterday, and then I wanted to talk to a couple of people, so I deleted the tweet and figured I'd talk to you guys about it now. Talked to a couple of people. I don't know who else you really need to talk with if the kid tells you something, right? Like, let me confirm the source. Well, the source was Winston Wright. So I don't know how much, how much confirming you need to do outside of that. But I try to talk to people, see if that timeline seemed to line up with what others thought. Kids are optimistic and, major comeback for, minor setback, major comeback type stuff. But Winston Wright back October-ish, be pretty big. A little bit of concern with Johnny Wilson. Obviously looked like he rolled up his ankle, walked out of the tent on his own power. That was the first thing that I was looking for. So where our seats were in the end zone, I was looking right into where the tent opens. And so the first thing I wanted to see was when he walked out of the tent, was he on someone's shoulders? Was he, kind of leaning on their shoulders? having to be propped up. He walked out of the tent and walked around on his own power the rest of the day, right? Wrapped his ankle up really, really tight. I don't even know if I'd call it gingerly from what I could see. I don't think he was out there strutting around like there was nothing wrong, but it didn't seem too bad. He kept moving, right? Then he kind of ankle sprain. You want to keep moving. You want to keep as much weight on it and as much pressure as you can. After the game, Mike said that further evaluation needed to be done. In his press conference, I reached out to somebody to try and get an update on that as well. And they pretty much just gave me the same thing. Like, hey, we really need to kind of go in and do some more digging, let some swelling get down, see what things look like when the tape comes off, and go from there. I think it's something that could linger all year. But it's also, he should play. Like, I'd be pretty shocked if Johnny Wilson didn't play. I didn't love the first pass to Johnny Wilson. I didn't like that slant kind of down there near the end zone. I mean, he's so big. I mean, throw it up, so I didn't love that. But again, how many fade routes you want to put on tape? You want to put fade routes on tape for LSU? You want LSU to see that? So maybe I do like that play. I don't think they're going to run Johnny Wilson on slants within the 5-yard line against LSU. Somebody tweeted out that the 2-point conversion was something to waste LSU's time in practice. I don't know, maybe, but I think that slant play was. I think that they'll throw a slant pass touchdown to Johnny Wilson in a week from today, and you guys can all at me. But I think that's exactly what that was, because I didn't like that at all. It just didn't look natural. It just didn't. It wasn't crisp. It didn't look natural. Obviously, we scored a play or two later with Jordan running it in, so it wasn't a big deal. I think Mike knew that he could get away with throwing some of that stuff on tape, and team could still just run it in at any time. But I didn't love that play call. Again, if you're doing it to just kind of like throw them off, that's fine. But didn't love that call. Johnny also obviously did a great job on the deep ball, and unfortunately, he kind of gets rolled up there, gets it down inside the 5, and obviously Florida State scores from there. And the last thing is, with Washington, he never went inside the tent. You guys saw it reported, but he was kind of like stretching, working out around the tent, trying to make sure that he was 100%. But he seemed to be fine. I don't have any kind of thoughts or suspicions that he won't be around. The biggest thing that I'm trying to reach out to and trying to reach out on and get any kind of confirmation on right now is my anticipation was that Maurice Smith would be back this week. We'll see what the depth chart looks like out when it comes out on Monday. You can't always take Florida State's depth chart as like 100%. If they put Cam, I think now that we're this far past, we knew that Cam McDonald was not going to be playing in this game this weekend. Didn't really talk about it a ton. Think he'll be back soon enough, but he was listed as tight end 1 on Florida State's depth chart on Monday. And then, not everyone, but I think we all kind of knew that he hadn't been practicing. So I could see him coming back this week, but I think you want to try not to read so much into the Monday depth chart that comes out. Again, Cam McDonald listed as tight end 1, and then, Mark Easton got the start yesterday. So obviously subject to change, but I'll be interested to see if Maurice is on the depth chart, what it looks like with him out at practice, yay or nay this week. But I would anticipate Smith is back. I would anticipate that Washington is fine for this week. God bless Harris and Jazz team looked pretty good. But yeah, I'm not going to go into a full game breakdown. At the end of the day, Florida State dominated an opponent. They needed to. I had a good day for those that asked. No one asked, but yeah, good stuff. All right. That's all I got. garnetandgold.com spaces15 to save you 15%. Of course, we want to also give Gramco a shout out. My guy David was out at the tailgate or out at the game yesterday. We've got a huge tailgate going with them in New Orleans. thegramco.com TJ25 will save you 25% on all your Delta 8 needs there. Hey, a lot of comments on YouTube. Appreciate the comments on YouTube. I'll get to some of those in a minute. I want to get some people on here to let them chat, let them get their takes off. A lot of people here on YouTube. The super chat feature is available. So don't just make me rant up here for nothing. So, all right, Dave, I'm going to let you go first. You were one of the first ones to request. I don't remember the order that you guys were in, but I'll try and get to you guys in order if I can. Dave, what's going on? Dave, you there? You're on mute. I don't know if Dave's there or not. Devin, let me get you in here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing much. I think I wasn't really looking at the opponent yesterday. I was more impressed with just how we physically looked. I know I saw the reports that we looked bigger, but to see them actually look bigger and look like a actual college football team, like I can't tell you the last time our O-line looked that massive. And everyone's like, oh, it's people are tweeting at me saying, oh, it's because you're playing Duquesne. I'm like, no. I'm comparing their size to what they were last year. They look massive, and it looked awesome to have receivers that are like capable and could catch the ball. It had nothing to do with the opponent. I'm looking at us as a whole, and I liked what I see.
Yeah, making a catch or, keeping your legs turning when you're doing like those things, it doesn't matter who the opponent is, right? Now you may have more space to make the catch, but like actually securing the ball. Huge. Yeah, somebody just sent me the stat. Yeah, 2.38 seconds a pass for Duquesne on their, 6 or 7 first half passes. The national average last year was 2.79. Duquesne treated it like a paycheck game. They went in and just, all right, we're just going to get out of here. Like, we're just going to go. So, yeah, good stuff. You ready to get to New Orleans?
Absolutely. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a great time. LSU fans are already talking that smack. We were in the spaces yesterday. I heard you talking your shit. But they're a little worried, I feel like. They were a little pressed after seeing us play yesterday.
Yeah, no, I couldn't get much out of the LSU spaces because that idiot Gator fan was, every time somebody tried to say anything about, LSU or Florida, the Gator fan had to enter his 2 cents. So, yeah, it was hard to,
I made
take
a
anything
comment
away from
about Brian Kelly and his new Southern accent, and they started freaking out, like, come in here and show some respect. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so
sensitive. Man, it's been a while since.
Question though, is there an update on Destin Hill?
Oh God, that'll. Richie will be back for Double Fries No Slaw tonight at 7 p.m. and you can ask Richie. Yeah, I'll see what Richie's got on that.
All right, cool, thanks.
Appreciate you, Devin.
All right, man.
Oh boy, college football all day tomorrow or yesterday. How could you guys be in a bad mood? Nebraska. Oh my goodness, we're not going to talk about Nebraska on here, but was Scott Frost hired the same year Willie was? Somebody shoot me a message on that. They've really just held on. Yeah, Gainer, in a boot on crutches. I'm not sure. I didn't even think to reach out about that because I was asking about Wilson. I thought Spann looked good too. I thought Spann looked good at times. Made a nice catch along the sideline. Made a catch in traffic. I thought Deuce Spann looked good. All right, John Culver. Let's get some more people on here. Anthony Grant did look good for Nebraska. Wow. But man, Nebraska. Like, okay, I understand. Like, I don't want to make this a Willie thing. I think we all know that it was probably time. But if you want to say Willie should have got more time, that's fine. How long is Scott Frost going to get? Like, it's certainly, it was Northwestern. John, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
How are you?
I can't complain. I'm doing pretty good today, though.
It sounds like you're in a tunnel, man. I can barely hear you. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take this off.
People used to call in a Big 3 roll-up when we'd have Same Energy Sunday, and they'd be on, like, Bluetooth and stuff, and that is just so disrespectful. I can hear you fine, but I feel like the callers can't hear very good, or the listeners.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody can hear me.
Yeah, a little tough. What you got, man? Question, comment? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment, man. Because I was going back and forth with somebody earlier today about the receivers, you know what I'm saying? And of course, they're like you said, you got your whiners, you know what I mean? They're whining. And I said to him, man, look, you had a guy break out last night, and nobody even really paid any attention. And Kentron 48, and of course, the first thing they want to say, the kind of level of competition. And this is my thing: you can't scream level of competition, to benefit one group, but then all of a sudden it's not good for another group. Because you can't sit up here and say, oh, I like what I seen from the defense, or I like what I seen from the offensive line. But then when it comes, to the receivers, it was the level of competition. No. What he did last night as far as KP, if you look at it and you look at the film, he could have done it against anybody. It wasn't because it was Duquesne. He played, his body language was confidence. He played like you hadn't seen him play before. And like when we had the one sack that they got, well, he came right back after that sack. We were in a second or third and long situation after that sack. And he came right back and he made a catch over the middle, contested, for a first down. That would have, that translates to no matter who the level of competition was, he wanted it.
I like it. Yeah, kid stepped up. When he was listed as an OR on the depth chart on Monday, I didn't think he would get a lot of burn. And then he comes out and leads the team in receptions. Florida State just didn't throw the ball a lot, right? Like, we understand that. Like, Jordan Travis threw the ball 15 times, Tate and AJ 7 times combined. But, yeah, the kid was great. Kid did a great job.
Yeah, 484, man. 484.
It's crazy, and you're right about the level of competition argument, right? We want to use the level of competition to bash the team,
right?
But we don't want to use the level of competition to praise the team, right? Like, anything the team did that you didn't approve of, well, they could have done this better. They were playing Duquesne, but anything they do positive, it's not. Now, again, my big takeaway from from yesterday.
I had to get that off because that just irritates me, that, if they, you use it to your benefit when it's, get your point across, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. You went back in the tunnel, but you sounded good there for a minute. I think I lost John. Yeah, when he was listed as on the 2 deep, I didn't even know if he'd get a chance there. Obviously, with Ontario Wilson being out, that was super. Hopefully he's back and ready to go. I think he's going to be one of your better wide receivers. Micah Pittman took that screen for 18 yards. I thought that was a fun one. Something that we can probably see pretty often. Florida State didn't throw the ball at all last night. Jordan Travis looked good. What do you have? 11 of 15, and one of those I think was a drop. And then how many times is Jordan Travis going to throw it down inside the 5 and a guy get tackled? Comes away with 0 passing touchdowns. Kind of unlucky for him. We got to stop hyping backup quarterbacks. I don't want to go so deep on this. But there seems to be a segment of this fan base, media outlet, whatever you want to call it, that continuously seems to say very, very positive things at times that get reaction from the fan base. And when you see that and you see reports, and certain people cry about certain things, and so I'm trying to be somewhat, like not all the way out there, but yeah, I think when you see certain things from certain people reporting, and it just doesn't jive with what the entire rest of the beat says, and then the lights come on, and it's completely counterintuitive to what you've said, you got to stop taking bait. You got to stop taking bait from people that are bait pushers. That's the take. Am I allowed to say that? I'm going to get yelled at for that. Definitely going to get some cries, some tears over that. James Rand. Let's get James on here. Trey's in here. Seymour. Oh, John's coming back for more. If he's out of the tunnel, I'll add him. James, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing? Okay.
I'm doing good.
Happy victory. I'm out on the golf course, so I gotta kind of make this quick. But I just wanted to say, I think Coach Atkins did a great job. I haven't watched a Florida State game in the last couple of years where the offensive line looked, in sync, no penalties, offsides, etc. So, I think that aspect was great. And I like the linebacker from UCF. He kind of reminds me a little of Kendall Pope. I'm aging myself here, but so I thought, is his name Bethune?
Yeah, Tatum Bethune. Yeah, he looked good last night. He's got some good bursts.
Yeah, him and Deloach, I think, speed-wise, you can hit the gap. So it was a great game, and I'm looking forward to heading down to New Orleans next week. It's gonna be fun.
New Orleans is going to be dope. Hey, man, hit them straight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys.
You bet.
Go Noles.
Go Noles. Yeah, I thought Tatum looked really good last night. I thought Caitlin looked good. Yeah, I think the linebackers are going to be pretty solid. Dare I say a strength of this team? Man, I wanted Tatum to get that interception so bad. That's the one thing I want to rant about. I'll join the negative crowd and say that we didn't get any turnovers last night on defense. I thought Tatum had it, man. I don't know if you guys could tell because when I rewatched it, it was tough. But man, he kind of like reached behind him to try and get that interception, and it was high. You know, he tried to kind of get it with one and bring it back in, and just didn't. Just kind of reacted like a half a second too late. But I thought that'd been a cool moment for Tatum if he could have gotten that interception. I don't think it mattered. Florida State scored on the next drive anyway, but it would have been a cool moment. Let's get to some more people. Oh, man, you never know what you're going to get. I'm sure that this person will crap all over me. And no, it's not Seymour Stacks. It's Trey Rowland. Trey, what's going on? Trey, Earth to Trey. I ain't got him. He must have died. All right, let's go with everybody's favorite. Sometimes the thing like times out. If you've been requested for a long time, sometimes it does that. So request back if I cut you off. Let's go Seymour. Seymour, don't come on here being all negative, man. I went on like a 15-minute rant, and I don't want to do it again. I think you guys have been requested too long. I think that's what ends up happening. So if you're requested right now, unless you just requested, if you've been requested for like 10 minutes, take the request off, close the app, and come right back in real quick and request again, because that's just going to keep happening. So like Stunna LH, I know you've been on hold for a while. Slippin' Benny, I know you've been on hold for a minute. Take the request off and come back real quick, because it's just going to keep happening to everybody. AYS, you're new. Chad, you're new. Logan, you're new. You guys can just stay on. Hey, let's go for 15 more minutes, and I got my kid's birthday party in like an hour, so we'll jump in. Trey, what was your takeaway, man? What are your thoughts? You mad? You pissed off today?
No, God, why would I dare? I fear for the reaction you would give me if I was.
That's true. You're a lot stronger than me, so I would never talk bad about you.
Yeah, good call, bud. No, I thought it was a solid report. First thing I want to do is I'm on the streets of Denver right now. I'm here for a trade show, which is great. I'm just going to be sweet talking a bunch of middle-aged men trying to get them to buy my shit.
What kind of trade show? You know, like things we can talk about legally, illegally, like one of those. You know, you said Denver.
Yeah, no black market, just railroad stuff.
You a mile?
Just a railroad trade show.
But you are a mile high right now.
Yeah, man, I'm here. So shout out to the Seminole Club of the Rockies.
Oh, is that where you watched?
Dude, dude, they had some fucking FSU bar. There was like a couple hundred people in there, man. Like they did a good job. So shout out to them. Gave me a free T-shirt. So that's always good shit. But no, so I will say that I need to focus in and watch the film a little bit more with the triple option guys. I would definitely point everybody to the instant reaction that Kevin and Adam did last night. I thought it was really informative. But what stuck out to me was I think the linebackers really stood out to me. I think you can see just how much of a difference, and having two guys back there with no like serious physical deficiencies and a really high level of awareness. Like Kevin and I documented, and Adam, so many times last year where Florida State was dead to rights before the play even started. Yeah. Just because a lot of guys were out of position. And that didn't happen at all, man. It was the exact opposite. A kid like Tatum Bethune, which, man, sneaky. What a great pickup, right?
Huge.
He knew where people were going before the play. Like he was reading and knowing people in the area, so the awareness was really high. So that jumped out to me. The defensive line thing, I thought clearly it was part of Duquesne's strategy to get the ball out like immediately. So I'm glad you mentioned that stat. I still think, I'm interested to see how the defensive ends do against like an LSU, because it's easy to discount it, but I think it's something to take note. The interior was very dominant, very deep. I was very impressed with them. Safeties are awesome. Jamie Robinson's fucking nuts, dude. They put him everywhere. He's a really fun guy to watch. I will say cornerback. I'm interested. I think the depth is kind of sneaky thin, and which is funny. And everybody was questioning why we're taking so many of these guys and bodies in the transfer portal. I think you see why. Without no Marion Cooper, like that matchup next week is going to be interesting. Really want to get him back. And then as far as the offense, the running backs are really, really good. Trayshawn Ward specific. I mean, everybody talks about Trey Benson, which I mean they should. The kid, I haven't seen. That was like some like little Giants run. Like, he was like the icebox dude. Like fucking people were bouncing off of him. But Trayshawn Ward's patience really stood out to me. And Lawrence Toafili. I mean, Adam said he might have been more impressed with them than the other two, which is crazy. So and the thing that stuck out to me about the offense is with a lot of the play calling, the motions, the things of that nature, the jet stuff, it looked so much more like the 2019 Memphis offense. I mean, not necessarily in production. We don't know that. But as far as what it looked like, I mean, you saw last year, it was basically just counters and shot plays in the passing game.
Yeah.
And this was totally different. They didn't, like you said, they were pretty vanilla, but they actually ran a lot of diverse running plays, a lot of inside zone, outside zone, counter, zone read, triple option. They actually did a lot more of that than they did last year, which goes back to what Mike Norvell really likes his offenses to do. And the RPO game, I think, with being aided by some of those guys. I thought Micah Pittman stood out yesterday. I mean, he's not an elite athlete, but I thought he looked very competent with the ball in his hands, and he's going to be a good weapon for you. So I was very positive. I mean, the level of competition, it is what it is. But they did what they had to do, and I already can see at least structural and schematic differences from last year, even in a game where they didn't really show that much.
Yeah, no, it looked more cohesive. They just looked more like a team as opposed to just now again opponent. But like how you line up the opponent doesn't matter. How many times you jump off sides, the opponent doesn't matter, right? Like they did just look more cohesive and more like an actual team as opposed to, hey, we got a bunch of guys that all wear the same uniform.
Yeah, what they did was very interesting to me. Like I said, the way that the offense looked, the mindset, and we'll see how that goes when they play like a tough opponent next week. Did they revert back? Mike Norvell's always been a vertical shot guy, but I even feel like that was even amped up to like number 11 last year with Kenny Dillingham as the offensive coordinator. I'm interested to see how much of that RPO game translates. Will they start taking some stuff over the middle, that intermediate passing game? Because I think Jordan is competent now, where I think he can actually start taking advantage of that a lot more than they did in the past. So I thought it was a very positive performance. It tells you some. It doesn't tell you a whole ton before LSU. But I don't know if I feel any different now, but I feel more confident that I always thought that LSU game was going to be competitive, and I feel even more so that way now. That's a decent explanation.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on there, right? And maybe I just sounded way too, thank you for actually bringing some logic and some thought to the same rant that I had earlier. But yeah, that was
never happen again. It'll never happen again. I rarely ever do this.
My huge takeaway was that, yeah, if you're extrapolating anything from this game, it's a $3 word that I picked up from my buddy AYS that's requested right now. But if you're extrapolating anything from this game, super, super positive or super, super negative, what are you basing it on, right? Now, if we'd have gone out and won 80-0, maybe I'd feel a little bit better. Or if we'd have won by 14, I'd feel a little bit worse. But like 42-point spread, you won by 40. You scored every time you had the ball minus the last possession. I mean,
they could have won by 80 if
they wanted to. Yeah.
There was a lot of rotation on the offensive line. Like you saw so many different combinations last night, and I thought all of them performed pretty admirably. I don't know who tweeted out the stat, whether it was Kevin or Brendan, but just the difference in yards before contact last night compared to like Jacksonville State is another like FCS equivalent. It was literally double. Yeah. So they were, and Duquesne, I mean, fucking Duquesne. Nobody even knows where they are. They definitely suck. But as Dane and I talked about in our like opponent preview thing that we're doing weekly, if they did have any talent in size, it was along the defensive line.
Yeah.
It was between their three starting defensive linemen. It was 900 pounds, man. So, and the fact that they dominated them up there, I thought it was, like I said, I'm not going 12-0. I'm not predicting an ACC championship, but I feel really good about my preseason prediction that LSU game is going to be tight.
Yeah. And if they come out and lose to LSU by 21 next week, get blown out, get embarrassed, look like they.
That out in the ether, dog. Why are you putting that out?
I'm just saying.
Doing that
If that happens, nothing that happened in this game is the reason why. Like it just they're basing a season long sky is falling or booking your tickets to where's the national championship this year? Where's the playoff? Doing either of those after this game is just wild to me. So yeah, I agree. But all that said, we're beating LSU. So put my name on that.
Hey, I'm down. Stamped. Adam. Old cold takes. Frozen. Listen, brother, I gotta go. But it was wonderful talking to you guys. I think look out for the triple option. I'm going to be doing it from a Staybridge Suites in Denver, so that I'm sure the sound quality is going to be just high, very high. But hey, man, you guys, good win. Glad to be back in college football. Seminole Club with the Rockies. If anybody that is in that club is listening, you guys run a real tight ship. I'm very impressed.
Love it. Have you partaken out there or not yet?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're in Denver.
Not yet.
What do you mean? What do you mean? All right, man. I love you.
What do you mean? But, I don't know. Who knows who's listening? Eyes and ears everywhere. No, I'm keeping my nose clean, boys.
Yeah, I just like the smell. All right, buddy. See ya.
See you guys.
All right, I see Michaela in here. Y'all do me a favor and go follow Michaela Edenfield. I looked over. I was, between wrestling, wrangling a 4-year-old yesterday and trying to say hello to people at the tailgate with Rising Spear and everything else. I look over and Michaela legitimately just went and sat down next to Elena and started talking to her. And so I, of course, pulled my phone out and took a bunch of pictures of it. But it was really, really cute, really cute, really, really sweet. Legitimately just talked to her and was really kind. So I'll go follow Michaela. Michaela and I, okay, we need to work this out. Rob, I might need your help on this. We're trying to get, Michaela wants to do a photo shoot in the FSU foot. They do it for all these 2-star recruits that come in that are never going to sign with FSU. So I feel like, stud softball player. I just read the volleyball team's tipping off here in a second. But I feel like we can get Michaela in a photo shoot. If not, what are we doing here? Yo, call Haynes really good. I know Gene's the go. Gene will always be my go. Gene is the best play-by-play guy I've ever heard in my entire life. He grew up as a Bucks fan, and within 3 years, Gene had called a couple of national championships, one that we won and a couple that we obviously dropped, and then a Super Bowl within 3 or 4 years. Gene is the GOAT. Jeff Culhane's really good. Sorry, I got a call. How rude. Jeff Culhane is really, really good. Go back and I just retweeted his call, the first touchdown. Listen to it after the spaces. All right, we're going to have to go rapid fire through this. I got 4 or 5 minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let's go rapid fire real quick. Seymour, don't bring the mood down right now. At least wait till after LSU to bring this mood down.
What's up, TJ?
What's up, baby?
I can't call it, man. I want to talk a little bit what I saw yesterday, man. The good and the bad. You know what I mean? Like you said, this game really doesn't tell you a lot. We'll find out what we have next week. But one thing I noticed was the Jaron Verse situation. He's big, fast, and athletic, just like we thought, man. But I noticed he had an issue setting the edge. Did you notice that?
Little tough for me to, I didn't. Little tough for me to really jump in and see that. Just, again, wrestling kids, and then I rewatched it this morning, but I really need to kind of go back and watch it.
I noticed he doesn't set the edge quite as well. I know that him making that transition from FCS, he'll probably be a lot better later in the season. But early on, I noticed that Briggs did a really good job of setting the edge, and I think that in the FSU game when we play LSU, I think we're gonna I think Sam said it earlier in his podcast, man, that we're not gonna be able to play Briggs, Verse, and McClendon a lot together. We're gonna have to play a lot of Briggs and rotate that other end position because they both have issues setting the edge. Just go back and watch them on that.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's a good take. I thought that the positives on Verse was that he just looks so smooth when he's moving, coming around the edge. But yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people were surprised or shocked that Verse wasn't just like the de facto auto starter. And they're like, why is Briggs still here? Why is it? And so, yeah, it takes a little time to adjust. Now, he's got all the physical ability and talent in the world. And I think like Seymour's right. I think you'll see that down the edge or down the stretch. You know, I'm not going to say he's going to have a Jermaine Johnson game against Miami, but against that cupcake of an offensive line, wait to see what Jared Verse looks like later in the year, because he could go for 4 sacks in that game.
Definitely. And another thing that I didn't like how Fuller had Jamie Robinson in the slot so much, man. I think he looks a lot better playing that safety position. When he plays against better slot receivers, I think that he'll suffer in that slot position. I think, you know, when you put more in front of him and just let him go out and make plays, he's a much better football player. I don't know if they did that a lot against Duquesne just because it was Duquesne and they didn't want to give LSU a lot of film. But him in that slot position, I really didn't like that a lot. How do you feel about that?
I almost wonder if they had to do that more because of Cooper being out. Because I agree. He's much better when he's playing on the top, you know, over top. So that was my first reaction, was maybe it was just with Coop being out, you just needed to kind of let some guys play in a little bit more traditional positions. So you kind of just like swapped them. Maybe that's just, I don't know. That's just kind of what my thought was. I could be way off there. You know, I don't have inside info on it, but that was my first thought. Jamie Robinson's the real deal though. Like, I will say that he is the real deal.
I have to agree with that, man. And a couple more things that I noticed too, maybe that I wanted to talk to you about, man. I didn't really. How many plays do you think that they have to take out of the playbook now, seeing how poorly Rodemaker performed, to be able to? Because this just really emphasizes the fact that JT has to stay healthy. So it's like, I think that we have to take a good bit of those plays out of the playbook. As far as JT running, we can't really just dangle him out there because of how poorly Rodemaker just looked, you know what I mean, going into year 3.
Yeah, I think you are probably try to be more conservative with JT running the ball. But I think they proved last night they got 3 or 4 guys that are pretty capable of toting the rock. And so I don't expect 3 guys to go for triple digits against LSU. I'd love it. But I think they've got 3 pretty capable backs. And last year you really just had Corbin, right? Trey was okay. Toafili was okay, but they just weren't consistent. So I'm okay with that. Like, if you've got to take a little bit of that away, I'm okay with it. Jordan needs to do a better job of when they run, instead of trying to get 25 yards, just be happy with 12 and get out of bounds or go down, right? That's tough for a competitor, but 12 yards is great, bro. It's more than a 10th of the field. So
I agree, man. I agree. And did you watch how with Darius Washington, I think we have to get that center situation taken care of before next game, because we like to run a lot of counter, and I think that Darius Washington isn't quite, his foot speed isn't quite good enough to run as much counter as we want to against a more dominant front. So I think it's really imperative that if Maurice Smith is healthy and able to go next week, that we really get him out there to play, because he did a fairly good job, as far as, I think he would be a better center, in pass set. But as far as what we like to do as far as the counter game and his foot speed not being as good, I think that, those are calls that Smith would be a little bit better at.
Especially with a better defensive line next week. Yeah, I thought Gibbons looked good at center yesterday, but yeah, I agree. I think you'd really like to have Maurice Smith, which, again, that's kind of been what's hinted at to me is that he'll be back for this LSU game. So, again, we'll see what the depth chart looks like when it comes out tomorrow. Seymour, let me get some other people on here if that's all right. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, cool, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, buddy. All right, let's fly through some of these real quick. Let's get let me see here. Stunna LH, you've been on hold for a long time. I'm going to try and get AYS on. I'm trying to get Benny, but I am running out of time. I could probably go like 10 more minutes. So let's go. Let's rapid fire these. Stunna, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm 1-0, baby. Only team in the state that can say that. We don't count FAU.
Norvell has to know that LSU is going to load the box and force Jordan Travis to be throwing the ball next week, right? He has to know that.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, and if Jordan Travis is taking the step that literally everyone that watches practice and if Jordan Travis is taking that step, bring it on. I watched Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones light the secondary up last year, right? I'm not worried about that. Load the box. Let's go. Now, if they shut us down, hats off. LSU wins a game. But yeah, load the box. Let's go. Let's see. Let's test Jordan right now. He's fully healthy. He's got better targets than he's had in his entire career. Let's go. Load the box. See what we can do. Hey, if we come out, I mean, you know, if we come out and fall flat on our face, lose by 21, Jordan throws 3 picks, we know what we got. But I ain't worried about that. Load that thing. Let's roll.
And you believe that, you know, Norvell really didn't call anything crazy. Like, you believe that he kept a lot of things in, like.
Yeah, we ran the same 5-6 plays over and over and over again last night. You know, Jordan Travis didn't throw 1 passing touchdown. All of the long passes were just literally go routes. Yeah, like it was. I mean, you're just playing a team that was way worse than you. So yeah, I people talked about that, like, oh, well, you're going to put stuff on film for LSU. I wonder how much stuff you put on film for LSU that is literally never coming back. Probably the 2-point conversion. Probably the slant pass down in the 5-yard line to Johnny Wilson. You don't put your 6'7" guy going across the middle on a slant pass. Like, it's just, you know, you lob it up, right? But they didn't put that on film. So yeah, no, I agree. I think there was some of that for sure. You going to New Orleans, my man?
No, I don't have a chance to, but I'll be tuned in.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, buddy. All right, let's get my guy AYS on right here. Again, we're going to rapid fire these, get some more of you guys on here and get off. Load the box. Let me talk about loading the box real quick. Guthrie's was the real MVP yesterday, brought by the Chicken. We always have Guthrie's at the tailgates. We're going to have them this weekend as well. I got confirmation on that coming tomorrow. But shout out Guthrie's. Always the best chicken. What's up, Blake?
You recovered from the Florida fan last night?
Bro, he had me heated. I've been pretty saved on this episode today. I don't think I've said one bad word. But this guy I was even calling names and stuff last night. It was wild.
Yeah, you were out of character, man. I was like, God damn, TJ off.
Man, okay.
I got to be honest. I was kind of you flustered me a little.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Listen.
TJ the DJ with top row, bro.
It was backwards hat TJ. It was Twitter TJ, not Facebook TJ. So I'm sitting there listening to this space. I'm driving home last night. The service is going in and out because there's, 75 is just terrible. And I'm listening, and poor Max, shout out to Seminole Executive Brief. My guy Max Moody is in there trying to talk about actual football things, right? Like, how, routes are run and who's covering, this. And this Gator fan, the entire time is just, oh, y'all are ass, bro. Y'all are ass. Y'all can't beat anybody. Y'all are ass. Y'all ain't been a bowl game in 4 years. And Max is just like, look, I get that. We've been a bad team, but how does that matter for 2022? Oh, it just matters because y'all are ass. And I was just like, so anyway, yeah, so I finally pull over to get gas, and I'm like, I got to let this Gator fan have it. So he probably didn't understand one thing that I said, but anyway, it was funny to watch. It's like trying to watch an attorney explain to a drunk guy what his best options are for going forward, right? And the drunk guy's just like, man, you ain't nothing. And the attorney's like, no, dude, let's just have a real conversation. So shout out Max. But what you think, Blake?
I think that it's going to be a lot more interesting than I think I originally thought. LSU fans were on my ass last night about, just not coming out and saying that LSU is going to run over Florida State. TJ, I have questions. The one thing that I think is going to be the most interesting thing to me now, seeing y'all's running game, is LSU's defense. Their biggest strength has been stopping the run. Going into Bama last year and they have pretty much the same front seven returning, holding Bama to only 6 rushing yards. TJ, it feels like a strength on strength right now. I do wonder if Norvell or whoever finds a way to supplement the running game with, short screens, getting the back out of the backfield and doing stuff like that. But I really do think it's about to be a strength-on-strength battle between LSU and Florida on that side of the ball. That's the biggest takeaway for me watching the game and then obviously being at LSU's practice, because, TJ, if there's one thing you got to give LSU is that they're going to stop the run. and they've shown that they can. So I guess we'll see, man. That was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I think we will see Florida State pass the ball a lot more than we did last night. Jordan Travis threw the ball 15 times. Against Miami last year, Jordan Travis threw the ball 26 times. We ran the ball really, really well there. Against Syracuse last year, Florida State's first win of the year, we threw the ball 32 times with Jordan Travis. Against Florida, we threw the ball 30 times, and he missed 3 series. So if you just kind of extrapolate that out, he probably throws the ball 35 times. So I think towards the later half of last year, Florida State threw the ball a ton, right? And so
you only ran 2 passing concepts.
Yeah.
Fades, rails, and slants.
So kept it very – so – again, I think that LSU will do better against Florida State's run. I don't know, though. I will say this. Those guys are pretty dynamic, and I don't know that I've got LSU just stopping it completely. I think you'll see a lot of that read option, and if Jordan makes good decisions, the read option, it's almost like a cheat code, right? Like if you run that thing well, it's hard to stop it, right? Because it's just read. What's the defensive end do? What's the linebacker do? And roll. So if he runs it well.
And that's what I put in my write-up this morning, TJ, was just a simple fact that LSU can have the athletes, but if you have the athletes and you're not disciplined, you get beat.
Yeah.
Right. So I agree.
So, but I'm right there with you. I think this game is a true coin flip. I think it's like 55-45 LSU, right? Not a final score, like 55%, 45. That'd be a fun game though. I think it's a 55-45% chance LSU wins. Slight edge to having a little bit more talent, some questions on FSU's offensive line, and questions in FSU's secondary, where LSU is really, really good at wideout, right? So I lean LSU here, right? When it gets to Thursday, I'll probably be drinking all the Kool-Aid, and I'll pick Florida State to win by like a field goal. But I
picked them earlier. I screen recorded.
Crap. I think
I did. I really did.
Somebody did. That Gator fan, if he could figure out how to do it, would probably do it. But I think that the game will be incredibly close. I think it'll start very slow. I think that both teams will try to feel each other out and not make a detrimental mistake. I think it could easily be, 13-10 or 10-7 at the half, and you could see it open, maybe a little higher. Yeah, I like 13-10. And you could see it open up a little bit more in the second half, take more chances, and we'll see who has the ball last. That's on. I went on with somebody the other day on an LSU radio show that wasn't yours. Sorry to cheat on you. But I literally said, he said, who are you picking? I said, well, I hope we lose the coin flip, or I hope we win the coin flip so that we can end up having the ball first in the second half, because I want us to have the ball last. Whoever has the ball last is going to win. That's my take. So, whether they're kneeling it down or scoring on the last drive of the game, whoever has the ball last wins this one. So we'll see. See what FSU's depth chart looks like this week. See what happens with the center position. See if Omarion Cooper's back. See if Ontario Wilson is back. See where Johnny Wilson is. See a couple of those things. And man, if we're fully healthy and y'all are fully healthy, somebody's gonna win this game by 3 or 4 points. And could things happen? Yeah, football's weird, man. We lost to an awful UF team last year. It lost to UCF. Football's weird. Sometimes things happen that shouldn't. But we'll see. I think it'll be a fun game.
Yeah, and I think, TJ, the biggest, and I told our fan base this, I think the biggest thing that's going unnoticed here is LSU being in the dome. It's like one of those things, like, I don't know if you guys have somewhere that you play or you go that you just always dominate in. It's going to be it's going to be different. I think it's more going to be more of a Tiger Stadium atmosphere than people give it credit for. I know Florida State's bringing a lot of fans. I'm not saying that, but LSU just has a history in that building. I get the coaching staff. I get a lot of this stuff, but it is a little bit different. There was a thing in Vegas that LSU, I think that Vegas always tries to lean LSU when they're in the dome. Now, right now, the line doesn't say that, but I don't think that's getting talked about enough, TJ. This is a 25-mile drive. This isn't something that, the LSU's got to go to like Orlando or wherever. So I do think it's a bigger advantage than people give it credit for. I'm not going to say, TJ, that I disagree with you. The one thing I will say that I think is
it would be a nightmare matchup and I would have to see more of your guys' secondary. Man, there were a couple times that I thought the receivers for Duquesne were open and dropped passes. Kayshawn Boutique's not dropping that post route. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the only question that I would have, because LSU does have serious skill positions on the outside. So if the thing that I'm going to be pushing all week is to say, like, look, bro, what do you do if Kayshawn Boutique's wide open? You know, but again, that would be the biggest key that I would see offensively. If they can get their guys out in space, it could get, you know, like TJ, I mean, you know this. I mean, there was a lot of drop passes by Duquesne, and so I wonder if that guy can do it, what makes me believe that Kayshawn can? You know what I mean? Yeah,
Florida State being down their number one cornerback last night. Just don't have a lot of updates there or know a lot about that I could kind of share at this point. But being down him moves everybody else into a position that they're not then familiar with. And so, yeah, you need him back, right? Because first of all, he's your number one guy. Second of all, it lets everybody else kind of move to a more natural position. So if Cooper's not there to be on, you know, your ultra talented megastar, I think that's trouble for FSU. If he's back and pretty healthy, I think they'll be in much, much better shape. But yeah, the secondary, you asked me when I was on your show a few weeks ago what my two biggest concerns were, and they were offensive line and the cornerback position. And they still are, right? Due to injuries on one side, due to depth on the other. Well, yeah, injuries with Cooper out as well. So they're still my two biggest concerns. So Florida State needs to get that shored up for sure.
Yeah, and look, I think LSU's going to have a big day tomorrow in reference to who they're going to name as their quarterback either Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll see. I mean, we have a pretty good perception of who it's going to be at this point, but we'll see. But I think it's going to be fun, man. I think it's going to be a fun week. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's prime time, baby. You know, prime time in the Dome, so I'm excited.
Should be fun, man. I can't wait, brother.
All right, brother. We'll talk this week.
Awesome, man. Blake,
I'm a listener.
Yeah, Blake is coming on Double Fries No Salt Thursday night to preview the show, so should be fun. Are You Serious Sports? Y'all go follow Blake. He does a great job covering LSU. Again, I really appreciate the YouTube love today. If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to do these reactions. Again, next week will probably be the day after as well because I'll be in New Orleans, but these are a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of fun with them. All right, let's Slip and Benny. I got Slip and Benny, and then I got Logan, and then we're out of here. Again, we didn't get any super chats on YouTube. No super chats, so it's like the Broke Boy show on YouTube today. But you could at least hit the. Oh no, we did. Anthony Gregory, my guy, Kraken. Oh gosh, I gotta say it. All right, Kraken put this out there. This is not me. If you're listening on a burner account, do not come for my mentions. Kraken, he put money in the super chat. If you super chat on YouTube, I'm going to read your post. Anthony Gregory, I'll say it. War Chant puts out the BS. So listen, that's not from me saying it. That's from a super chat fan. I can't control what the fans say. Slip and Benny, what's going on?
What's up, Teach? I'll keep it short so you can go do your kid thing.
It's my daughter's birthday party, bro. Don't say it weird like that, man.
I didn't mean to make it weird.
You're good.
I agree. You can't make a huge takeaway out of the Duquesne game. I do feel better than I felt before the game. I do think the 3 backs over 100 is something legitimate just for like a psyche kind of thing. I think it could be tough for these running backs to be in a stable, worried about the competition, worried about, them not getting their personal numbers. So it's got to just be good vibes in the running back room for them to see, they can all eat there.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really, really cool. It's crazy that in 76 years of FSU football, that was the first time that's ever happened. Somebody asked who the best trio of running backs are in FSU history. I think it's a foursome. I don't think it's a trio. I think it's in 2012, you had Lonnie Pryor, Chris Thompson, James Wilder Jr., and Devontae Freeman all in the same backfield. That is still mind-blowing. Like insane to think about. Love those guys. Benny, you coming to hang out with us in New Orleans, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be in New Orleans. I'll give you a comment on that, by the way. I won't cross the line yet. I'm going to have to wait for some of the relevant traffic data closer to Friday and Saturday. But, I mean, it's going to be a split crowd, 50-50. And I want to maybe have a couple drinks and call it 55% Noles closer to game day. Not in pure numbers, in energy. So, I mean, I don't know a person associated with Florida State that isn't going to New Orleans. So it's going to be something. It's going to be a scene, great weekend. And since I did absolutely snipe the Duquesne score, I'll give you a 27-23 Seminoles.
No, you did crush that. I'll get you a garnet and goal. You'll get hooked up, man. Good stuff there. Somebody else did too. I think we might have to give out a couple of them. All right, Benny, we'll see you this weekend.
Oh, by the way, TJ, give me an edict. Am I allowed to wear my FSU LSU shirt for an event that hasn't happened? Can you do that?
Yeah, why not? No, I'm good with it.
You can wear a shirt with a date on it that hasn't occurred. I don't know. I'm hesitant. I'm saving it. Maybe Garnet and Gold can weigh in.
They're not in right now, but I think you're set. I think you're all good there.
All right, have a good one.
See you, buddy. Got a DM that there were only a couple of only 2 drops by Duquesne. I don't know, but if that's the case, then yeah, probably makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, still, you don't want to, if one of those goes for a touchdown, it doesn't. It's not very good. So, all right, Logan, finish us up.
Hey, everybody, go Noles.
Go Noles.
I just want to say waking up to that game day feeling was incredible. It's like a high like any other. So good to be back in college football. As a whole, I think we've got a lot to be excited about. We've got a lot to we're gonna see, So, but overall, guys, I'm pumped. I think we're gonna have a pretty decent season. We're gonna have to have a few shakes though. So. I do have some concern with our interior O-line. So Maurice Smith coming back is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And, we did what we were supposed to do, but there's some technique things where guys, aren't moving their feet when they make contact, not rolling their hips. Those things can be improved, and that's just kind of where this team is. It's a team that's learning. So, I'm excited, but when you play football, when you watch football, when you know football, there's some things to really get pumped up about. Watching those running backs, receivers, watching Travis. Those routes might have to be quicker or shorter, against LSU, just because of how athletic that defense is. But I think you got guys this year that can actually make plays. So
yeah, I think if you can get Pokey back for this weekend, it'd be great. You could have, you'd also have Span. You'd imagine that guys like Span, Wilson, if he's healthy, Pokey, they'll play more, right? You won't have as much rotation there. Depth chart, it's like basketball. It's like college basketball. Bench gets shortened a little bit, but you're right. I mean, definitely things to improve on. And on the offensive line, yeah, I think people are. I don't want to say down on the offensive line already. I know the injuries play a big part of it, and you lose Lyles, Smith's, banged up. Washington, maybe a little banged up too. There was a lot of rotation on that offensive line last night. You had a walk-on playing center for about a quarter of it. Shout out Sonone for catching that. The offensive line, I think at least my expectation for the offensive line going into this year was that they would be average. That's what I wanted to see, an average college football offensive line. What does average mean? Middle of the road. They're going to make some good plays. They're going to make some terrible plays. They're going to let some stuff up. What we've had for the last 5 years, really maybe since Jameis, 2014, 2013 even. 2014 wasn't very good either. But what we've had for the last several years is bad to awful. I just wanted an average offensive line. So I know there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of excitement around the offensive line. And we thought that we know that with the depth, there shouldn't be any tragedies on the offensive line. But I just want that room to be average. You give me the 50th best offensive line in college football this year, and I actually think I feel good about it, right? Would I like top 30? Would I like top 20? Sure, I would. But I don't want to react too poorly to the offensive line, and the injuries are concerning. But I just want like a top 50, 60 offensive line. Because I'll tell you, it's been in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and hundreds for a long time. So I just want to be average in that group. Now, I need the defense to be top 30. I need the running backs to be top 30, 40. I need the wide receivers to improve. I know the safeties are the best in the ACC. I know the interior defensive line is the best in the ACC. So you got some really good position groups. But I just need the offensive line to be average. So, Logan, you're not going to LSU, right? But you're coming to meet me in New Orleans. You're coming to meet me in Louisville, right?
Yeah, I'll be up in Louisville. So I'll sit there in Louisville. School makes it hard. I will say with this team, we're going to see the mentality. That's the biggest thing. If these guys bring a mentality that, they don't care to get hit in the mouth, I think we're going to be all right against LSU. So, but yeah, I'll get there at Louisville. And I think we'll turn around and go to Western Kentucky, Indiana game the next night. So it's gonna be a blur of a weekend, but it's college football season, so
it's what we live for. It's what we live for.
That's right.
Logan, I appreciate you, my man.
All right, TJ, really do me a favor, get us the scoop on the injuries and what we're looking at this week.
I gave the Winston Wright scoop. I'm gonna work on it.
I feel like you're in this zone where you can kind of work different than the mainstream media. So,
I'm working on it. Yo, I got kids yelling in the background. I got to run, Logan. I'm going to get yelled at
you
here.
gotta go. We'll
All right,
see.
buddy. Appreciate you, my man. All right, guys. We'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. Double fries, no slaw, to talk about the win, try and see more if we can get more on any kind of updates on injuries and things like that. Again, Winston Wright tells me he'll be back 2 or 3 games. That'd be around October 1st for Hell Month. Wake, NC State, Clemson. If you missed any part of this, it's recorded here on Twitter. It's also on YouTube. I'll put it up on Patreon later today. If you want to throw anything in the Patreon, you're more than welcome to. Everything on there is free. But if you appreciate any of the info, if you appreciate anything that we do here, go to patreon.com/FSU Spaces. Throw $3 in and say thanks that way. I appreciate everybody that called in. Thought this was good for us. Thought it was good to rant a little bit at the beginning. Thought it was good to tell you guys a little story. Provide some perspective. Do fun stuff with your kids. Go do fun stuff with your kids. Go take your kids to a park today or something. If you're Rob DeLoach, you probably got your kids running wind sprints right now. But if you're not Rob DeLoach, go take your kids to a park. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. Love y'all. Let's get 2-0 next week. When we're doing this I guess it'll be next Monday. We'll be back 7 o'clock tonight. Double fries, no slaw. We'll do some kind of spaces after the depth chart comes out tomorrow, I'm sure. See you guys. Go Noles. Hey, if you're still here on YouTube, do me a favor, smash the subscribe button. Let's hang out. Be back later tonight. 70, 80 people in here today. So good stuff, YouTube crowd. Subscribe, please. Like the video. Hit share. Go Noles.